Nathan Beats.
What's up, y'all? This your boy, Mr. T4. I'm back with another banger. Today is part 2 of the Hogan Knows Best mini series, whatever y'all want to call it. You know what I'm saying? I just dropped part 1 out today. Well, whatever this dropped, but you know what I mean. So, you know what I'm saying? If you're new to the page, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button. You know what I'm saying? I just want to give y'all some hot content. So, you know what I'm saying? First of all, I just want to say I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be more consistent as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? Continue to pour all my heart into this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving up on the dream. We on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Y'all already know the 1,000 subscriber episode is. Of course, the man that we left off at, Life of a Savage. So, you know what I'm saying? With that being said, I just want to say I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm grateful for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I do this because out of love and passion. At first it was, you know what I'm saying, be one of my goals and do my thing. But I just do this out of love now. If we're going to get there, we get there. You know what I'm saying? But I love doing this. I love wrestling. I love what I do. You know what I'm saying? So, before we get into this junk, I want to give a big thanks to Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? Y'all call him Jesus Christ, whatever y'all want to call him. Because y'all already know. If it wasn't for him, won't be no me, won't be no page, won't be no y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, let's get to it. We left off it, WrestleMania 5. So now we're going to go into his further WWF Championship reigns and, of course, the steroid scandal. Let's get it. During Hogan's second reign, he started in the film No Holds Barred, which was the inspiration of a feud with Tiny Lester. Of course, y'all know him, Depot. You know what I'm saying? Tom Lester Jr., who appeared at wrestling events as a film character, Zeus. The duo will fight multiple times across the country during the late 1989. I'm trying to see. I don't know if it was WrestleMania 1990 or something. It was a pay-per-view. They're gonna have. They're gonna make them have a one-on-one match. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments. So, like I said, the duo fought all over the country during late 1989, including tag team matches at SummerSlam and at No Holds Barred pay-per-view, with Hogan winning each match. Hogan also won the 1990 Royal Rumble. During the Royal Rumble, he had an encounter with the Ultimate Warrior for the first time. Y'all know Warrior was getting built 2 years prior to that, you know what I'm saying, because Hogan was going to go do Hollywood or something like that, and Vince needed a new start. The brief encounter in this match led to a feud between the pair, culminating in Hogan losing his championship to Warrior in a title match at WrestleMania 6. I think Hogan said he wanted to turn heel, but Vince didn't let him around this time. And plus, Hogan felt like Warrior wasn't ready for that big run. So, y'all know the Hogan Warrior beef. You know what I'm saying? Warrior was another op of his, and y'all saw when Ultimate Warrior exposed their personal business on the video when he went 52 minutes on Hogan, Linda, really just Hogan. He really couldn't stand Hogan. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all know. So, alright. So, Hogan lost the belt to Warrior at WrestleMania 6. He teased retiring after being attacked by the Earthquake in a sneak attack on the Brother Love show, but returned by SummerSlam and defeated Earthquake in a series of matches across the country. So, Hogan had became the first wrestler to win the Royal Rumble match 2 years in a row after winning it. Now, they said Hogan was player hating on Warrior title reign, and politics got in the way, and Vince had mysteriously put the belt back on Hogan. But if you be real with you, Macho Man and Warrior had a better match than Sergeant Slaughter and Hulk Hogan, which he defeated at WrestleMania 7. I'm sorry, the retirement match was lit. What y'all want me to do? And of course, he had lost the belt to The Undertaker at the Survivor Series later that year following interference from Ric Flair. Now, if y'all remember, Undertaker he had talked about where Hogan was capping, talking about his neck. Undertaker broke his neck and stuff. And Hogan had regained the belt at Texas and Tuesday 6 days later, following throwing ashes from the Undertaker urn in his face. The championship was later declared vacant due to 2 succeeding controversial title changes. So it was decided that the vacant WWF Championship would be decided in the 1992 Royal Rumble. Now, during this time, they said Sid Justice said Hulk Hogan was playing hating him because the fans were starting to boo Hogan in 1992. But during the match, Hogan was eliminated by Sid Justice, who in turn, Hogan helped Flair to eliminate, leading to Flair victory. So around this time, they were trying to build Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania, but I guess the streets weren't feeling it at the house shows or whatever. So they decided to go with Macho Man versus Ric Flair. And then, of course, they had that trash main event at WrestleMania 8, where Hogan defeated Sid in a disqualification due to interference of Sid manager Harvey Whippleman. During this time, sources began to allege that George Sauron, a doctor for the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission, had been selling steroids illegally to WWF wrestlers, including Hogan. Amidst of public scrutiny, Hogan took a leave of absence from the company in late 1992. And we didn't see that man to that next year because he was doing crappy moves, I guess. I don't know. But Hogan had returned to the WWF in February 1993, helping his friend Brutus Beefcake interfere with Money Inc. Corporation and taking on Jimmy Hart, who had recently turned face, as his manager, renaming themselves the Mega Maniacs. Hogan and Briefcake had lost by disqualification. Now y'all remember this one. Hogan had politics. Hogan had politic his way to the top. And I gotta give it to him. I mean, he had a reason, you know what I'm saying? He had a good opening. Cause we right here. They said tickets weren't selling, you know what I'm saying? So here we go. So they had lost to the $1 Million Corporation by disqualification. But later that night, Hogan had won his 5th and final WWE Championship by pinning Yokozuna in an impromptu match only after Yoko had defeated Bret Hart for the World Championship. Hogan had reportedly used his influence to have a finish of WrestleMania change the weekend of the event, so he would be champion during the upcoming international tour and farewell tour. WWE officials said in interviews Hogan was made champion to help ticket sales for the European sales. So you gotta remember, so this when him and Bret Hart had beef, you know what I'm saying? Because you think about it, Bret said, according to Bret Hart, Hogan said he was gonna do him a favor at SummerSlam. And then of course Hogan said Bret probably thought I was gonna do him a favor, but he was about doing a favor for Yokozuna, you know what I'm saying? And Bret don't like Hogan to this day. You know what I'm saying? Because I forgot Bret had said, he said something backstage and he used to look at him funny, like disrespectful, you feel me? So that's why Bret didn't like Hogan to the end, you know what I'm saying? And Hogan never understood why, and like, bro, you know what, you know. But here we go. It's the first annual King of the Ring pay-per-view on June 13th. Hogan lost the WWE Championship to Yokozuna after Hogan was blinded by a fireball shot by Harvey. That was Harvey Whippleman? For real? I ain't know. By Harvey Whippleman disguised as a Japanese photographer. This was Hogan's last pay-per-view until 2002. After continuing to feud at international house shows circuit with Yokozuna until August 1993, Hogan set out the rest of his contract, which expired later that year. So Hogan said he made a promise to Vince that he wasn't gonna never compete with him again. I guess, you know what I'm saying? And we forget to that. On May 3rd, 1993, Hogan returned to New Japan Wrestling as WWE Champion and defeated IWGP Champion The Great Muta at the Wrestling Dakota. Hogan also wrestled Hellraiser with Muta and Chono as his tag partner. His last match in Japan was on January 4th, 1994, when he defeated Fujinami. Then, of course, y'all know what they say. Promises are made to be broken. You know what I'm saying? And here it is. He said he wasn't going to compete against the man. He lied. No cap. I'm sorry. So, WCW, World Heavyweight Champion, and feuded with the Alliance to end Hulkamania. Starting in March 1994, Hogan began making appearances on World Championship Wrestling television with interviewer Gene Okerlund visiting him on the set of Thunder in Paradise episodes. So, on June 11, 1994, Hogan officially signed with World Championship Wrestling in the ceremony that was held at Disney MGM Studios. Jimmy Hart remained his manager. The next month, Hogan made his ring debut at Bash at the Beach, defeating Ric Flair to become World Heavyweight Champion. His arrival was seen as a turning point for the company, bringing the mainstream attention and increased pay-per-view sales and new sponsorships. Now, around this time, fans were starting to boo Hogan, betray him. They were getting tired of the say your vitamins, say y'all all this. They were getting tired of it. They wanted something new, something fresh. So, afterwards, Hogan continued feud with Flair and later faced other top stars like The Butcher and Vader over the World Heavyweight Championship. He also reunited with Randy Savage, reforming the Mega Powers in WCW. In September 1995, Hogan headlined the debut episode of Monday Nitro, marking a new beginning of the Monday Night Wars. He feuded with the Dungeon of Doom, leading to the War Games match at Fall Brawl, where Hogan's team claimed victory. As the feud continued afterwards, Hogan began wearing all black and claimed he had crossed over the dark side. His 469 nine-day title reign, the longest title reign in history at WCW, ended at Halloween Havoc after a disqualification loss to the Giant. During the event, Jimmy Hart also turned on Hogan and aligned himself with the Dungeon of Doom. But on November 8, 1995, it was revealed that the title was allowed to change hands under the circumstances due to Hart secretly putting in an agreed contract clause. But the controversy led to the title being vacated. Despite this, Hogan was unsuccessful in reclaiming the title in World War III. He would have afterwards have only one more title shot during this period. During his WCW run, it was against Ric Flair on January 1st of 1996 on Nitro. But he would be unsuccessfully taking the belt from Flair due to Flair being disqualified. He would not begin another title shot until the summer of 1996. You know what I'm saying? He would end his single feud with the Giant with a steel cage match at Super Brawl in early 1996. He and Savage formed a team to battle the Alliance to end Hulkamania, defeating them in one of the worst matches of all time, with 9 groups versus 2 people, and uncensored in a Doomsday cage match. Yeah. Let's get it. There's some good stuff, man. I'm glad I did the episode. You know what I'm saying? Minus the controversy and all the stuff he did, I'm kind of glad I'm doing this episode now. You feel me? Come on. I'm glad that I'm thinking about, hey, I'm not doing that TNA stuff. Like, I ain't gonna talk about the main manager career. We're gonna stop at the final part, which I'm pretty sure is gonna be Randy Orton SummerSlam. After that, I'm not doing that TNA stuff. Nope. Why? He was a manager. Like, come on, man. Right, come on. So, at Bash at the Beach, 1996, Hogan turned heel for the first time in nearly 15 years by attacking his homeboy, Randy Savage, and aligning with the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. cutting the promo after which he announced the formation of the New World Order, rebranding himself as Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He adopted a new black and white persona and dominated WCW, capturing his second World Heavyweight Championship on August 10th by defeating the Giant for the title. Now, he had briefly lost the title to Lex Luger on August 4th, 1997. I think they say his thing was pissed when Luger won the belt. I'm not sure. Y'all let me know. But he regained the title back 5 days later and rolled wild. Meanwhile, a lengthy storyline between Sting and NWO reached its pinnacle at Starrcade on December 28th, where Sting defeated Hogan to win the championship in a controversial finish. Hogan didn't want to do business, so they were where they trash ass finish. A feud with NWO members Randy Savage and Kevin Nash led to the group split of NWO Hollywood by Hogan and NWO Wolfpack led by Kevin Nash. Hogan had defeated Savage for his 4th World Heavyweight Championship on April 20, 1990 on the episode of Nitro. But then he lost the title to then undefeated Bill Goldberg on July 6, 1998 on the episode of Nitro. After this, he spent the rest of 1998 feuding with Diamond Dallas Page in high-profile celebrity matches in various WCW pay-per-views, including the likes of Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone, and Jay Leno. Then, of course, they tried to rewrite history with the Warrior, and Warrior kind of exposed that in a promo, and you can tell in Hogan and Bischoff's face that they was pissed. But they tried to rewrite history. So, and then the Warrior. So, he would have critically planned a rematch with the Warrior at Halloween Havoc on October 25th, where his nephew Horace aided his victory. In late 1998, he announced a presidential run and retirement from wrestling, which was later revealed as a publicity stunt derived from Jesse Ventura's recent Minnesota, I don't know, dub. He got the dub in Minnesota. I can't pronounce that word. Hogan returned to WCW in January 1999 in the infamous Finger Poke of Doom match, where he reclaimed the WCW title from Kevin Nash with a simple poke to Nash's chest, which afterwards reunified the NWO. The incident is widely seen as a key factor in WCW decline in ratings and popularity. Of course, later that year in March, he lost the title to Ric Flair uncensored and returned as a babyface in July, defeating Randy Savage to win his 6th and final WCW World Heavyweight Championship on July 12th on the episode of Nitro. On August 9th, Hogan defeated Kevin Nash to retain his championship, but in Fall Brawl, he had lost the title to Sting. In the rematch, Hogan came out in street clothes and laid down for the pin and left the ring. Hogan was convinced shortly after by head booker Vince Russo to take some time off. It's the second time he want to do the job of Sting, because Sting was pissed that night, and you know they had to do a rematch with him and Goldberg, but they vacant the belt after the Goldberg. You know what I'm saying? Then of course, this trash feud. Hogan returned in 2000, feuding with cruiserweight Billy Kidman, culminating in a match at the Great American Bash. This feud had a negative reception, being voted as the worst feud of the year by the Rational Observer news seller. Trash. At Bash at the Beach, July 9th, 2000, Hogan was involved in a controversial segment. Hogan didn't want to do business, and I think Vince Russo had told him they're going to put the belt on Booker T or something. Or Jeff Jarrett gonna beat him or something, but he didn't want to do business. But they still had a historic moment, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, Hogan was involved in a controversial segment. Hogan was scheduled to challenge Jeff Jarrett for the WCW Heavyweight Championship. But however, before the match, there was a backstage dispute between Hogan and Russo. The match ending was changed to a work shoot where Jarrett just laid down for Hogan. with Hogan after winning this final. Right, that's a word for man for the trailer out. After the situation, Russo and the company on the microphone. Moments later, Russo came to the ring and said, "This is the last time fans will ever see that peace session in the WCW ring," while revealing Hogan creative contract control. As a result, Hogan filed a defamation character against Russo, which was eventually dismissed in 2002. Russo claimed that the entire incident was a work, and Hogan claimed that Russo had turned it into a shoot when Russo went to the ring. If y'all don't know what a shoot is, that means real. So WCW President Eric Bischoff agreed with Hogan's side of the story, saying that he and Hogan celebrated after the match over the success of the angle, but that Russo was coming out on fire was unplanned. Regardless, the incident marked Hogan's final appearance in the company. And of course, in the following months afterwards, in March 2021, Hogan underwent surgery on his knees and wrestled at HWF. I think he wrestled Mr. Perfect at this time, you know what I'm saying? In November 2021, in preparation for the WWF. Then, of course, all was forgiven, right? Vince forgave. And this when Kevin Nash and Scott Hall thought they still had the juice. But times didn't change. Hell no, that ain't it. Alright, let's get it. So, at No Way Out, February 17, 2022, Hulk Hogan returned to the WWF as a heel. The fans weren't going for that, with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash as the original NWO. The group attacked The Rock and caught Stone Cold Steve Austin a chance at becoming the undisputed champion, which led to feuding with both Austin and Rock. Now, they were trying to do Austin versus Hogan, but Austin didn't believe the match was going to be good, so they gave, of course, Austin Scott Hall, and they gave The Rock Hulk Hogan, and the match was lit. Electricity. So, this match resulted in the match between Hogan and The Rock at WrestleMania 18 on March 17th. All told, I told y'all, although Hogan entered as a heel, the crowd supported him and cheered for him heavily. After losing the match, Hogan shook hands with The Rock and turned face, distancing himself from the NWO. Following WrestleMania, Hogan revived his red and yellow Hogan persona, which Hogan took off. Though he initially kept the elements of his Hollywood Hogan characters such as his blonde hair, mustache, and black beard combination. On the March 25th episode of Raw, Hogan was drafted to SmackDown, where he began feuding with Triple H. But Hulkamania was born again when he beat the Game, thanks to The Undertaker, on April 21st to get the title, which was his final WWF championship before the company had renamed to WWE. But all good stories come to an end, right? Come on now. Hogan lost the title to Undertaker at Judgment Day on March 19th. Hogan later feuded with Kurt Angle, losing to him by submission at King of the Ring on June 23rd. Notably, the first time Hogan had lost by submission in WWE. On the July 4th episode of SmackDown, Hogan teamed up with Edge to defeat Billy and Chuck to win the WWE Championships, Tag Team Championships, before losing to the Un-Americans at Vengeance. Hogan was notably brutally brutalized by Brock Lesnar on August 8th on the episode of SmackDown. But, you know what I'm saying, after he lost to Lesnar, Hogan went on a brief hiatus before returning on January 23rd on the episode of SmackDown. Dropped the remaining components of the Hollywood persona. Hogan had faced The Rock again at No Way Out, losing the match thanks to controversy fashion. Then of course you had that street fight with him and Vince, man. Man, that promo was crazy. I felt the passion in Vince's voice when he felt betrayed. You know what I'm saying? Like they had got a lot of their chips around that time. You feel me? So, of Of course, at WrestleMania 19 on March 30th, he defeated Vince McMahon in a street fight that was billed as 20 years in the making. Following this, Hogan had adopted a masked alter ego of Mr. America after McMahon tried to force him out of the WWE. Despite McMahon's attempts to prove Mr. America's identity, the masked wrestler continued to appear through May and June, including a victory over Roddy Piper at Judgment Day. But Hogan's final appearance was on June 26 on the episode of SmackDown in a 6-man tag as he teamed with Brock Lesnar, carrying against the Big Show in the World Greatest Tag Team in a losing effort. The following week, Hogan had quit the WWE due to creative frustrations and unhappy with the payoffs for his matches after his comeback under the name Mr. America. So only on the July 3rd episode of SmackDown, McMahon aired the footage of Hogan unmasking after the June 26th episode of SmackDown and fired him on screen, though Hogan was already left the company. You know what I'm saying? We almost done, because I ain't gonna do all that TNA shit. We already done. Let's get it. So Hogan returned to New Japan in October 2003, where he defeated Chono at the Ultimate Crush 2 in the Tokyo Dome. And shortly after, he left the WWE and he joined TNA, making overtures to Hogan, playing Jeff Jarrett, co-founder of TNA NWA Heavyweight Champion, launching an unearned attack on Hogan in Japan after the Chono match. The attack was supposed to be a precursor to Hogan battling Jarrett for the NWA Championship at TNA first 3-hour pay-per-view, but due to recurring knee problems and hip problems, Hogan did not appear. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, at this time, in his third and final run, I told you I ain't doing the TNA shit. I ain't got time. No. On April 2nd, 2005, Hulk Hogan was adopted to the WWE Hall of Fame by Sylvester Stallone. That following night at WrestleMania 21, Hogan made a surprise appearance to save Eugene from Muhammad Hassan and Daivari. Of course, this led up to his introduction to WrestleMania appearance featured in his first show. I ain't gonna front. I feel like this show was the beginning of the end of Hulk Hogan family issues. Cause I don't know if y'all saw the show. The first season was cool. The second season, but the second and third season, man, him and Linda was just butting heads, man. It was just exposing a lot. I just feel like this show was the beginning of the end of the drama of Hulk Hogan life after it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this show exposed a lot. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he had a lot of issues. You feel me? So I feel. So we had the first season Hogan Knows Best at Backlash. Of course, he teamed up with Shawn Michaels as they defeated them at Backlash. You know what I'm saying? And plus him and Hogan, where Hogan had teamed up with Shawn Michaels again against Carlito and Kurt Angle. But then after the match, Shawn Michaels had turned on Hogan, which led to the match at SummerSlam. Even him and Shawn had beef, you know what I'm saying? Shawn didn't like him for some reason, and I'm pretty sure he ain't like Shawn. They said, you know, Hogan didn't want to. I just read today on YouTube, somebody said, Hogan said he was going to put my dog over, but, you know, Hogan started capping. You know what I'm saying? So, there you go. So, he beat Michaels. They shook hands. Of course, before WrestleMania 22, Hogan inducted Gene Okerlund in the Hall of Fame. He returned his Saturday night main event with his daughter, where he was attacked by Randy Orton with the RKO on the card that was lit. And of course, Randy should have won the match against Hogan, but whatever. Hogan defeated Orton at SummerSlam. This marks the final WWE match, you know what I'm saying, that he had with him. So I told y'all I wasn't going to do that TNA shit because he was a manager and all that bullshit. And appearances, why would I want to do appearances? Now, we gotta get to the controversy. My boy had a lot of controversy over the years, you know what I'm saying? He had a lot of controversy, you know. He had a lot of issues, you know. Especially like issue number one, when he said what he said about the others, you know, my daughter that a black NBA player, some tall N-word, you know what I'm saying? There was controversy. Booker T was trying to help that man out. The black community definitely started messing with him. I mean, when I posted on that man, dad, folks was going in on that man. I ain't even saying nothing good out there. Like, man, gotta give him a prop. Like, that piece of shit, they're to go to hell. I'm like, I don't like the dude either, but I don't want to wish hell on nobody, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you had the Richard Blazer, you know what I'm saying? When Hulk Hogan choked that man out for real. You had that going. You had beef with Brett and Sean. You feel me? Like, then of course that divorce was ugly. Then of course you had that controversy phone call with his son when his son was doing drag racing. You know, he got in a wreck with his friend, man, and dude ain't got no brain, no head, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you know, they were trying to make money off of it. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't, you got, sometimes karma come back on you in life, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially like you treat folks. I guess he fell out with his best friend, Bubba Love Sponge. You feel me? Cause Bubba Love Sponge said, I think he put out a little sex tape that Hulk Hogan was smashing his wife. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful how you treat people, man. You gotta be careful. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta be careful how you treat people, man. Then of course, you had the steroid case. You know what I'm saying? Where he testified against Vince. And of course, I told y'all, Billy Graham told y'all he gave Hogan the steroids. You know what I'm saying? Because Billy Graham, out of spite, was pissed how he treated him and how Hogan disrespected him on Arsenio Hall's show. You know what I'm saying? And you feel me? Like, I'm gonna do that Billy Star Graham episode for sure. Like I told you, you had the little Bubba Love Sponge, you know what I'm saying? Sex tapes and all that. You feel me? Man. Gotta think about that. Told you, Undertaker. See right here, Undertaker accused. See, Undertaker. He accused the Undertaker of injuring his neck with the Tombstone Power Driver. The Undertaker denied it. And then you see the video. Undertaker performed the Tombstone perfect. You feel me? Damn, it's fucked up, bro. Killed that man push, bro. You feel me? Then of course you had the personal problems, with Linda, you know what I'm saying, the family issues and stuff like that. And man, tore that family apart to the point his daughter Brooke wasn't even around the family no more. You feel me? And she wasn't even around the family no more. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm glad they got a chance to reconcile before he passed. You feel me? But man, life, man, that life shit tough. You feel me? Like that shit hard. You feel me? Like, though sometimes you gotta be careful with family issues and stuff like that. And I know with me by me going to therapy and stuff right now, sometimes you gotta put your life on hold. Be like, oh, whoa. I need to fix my issues for myself, and I gotta be the shining light, not only for myself, but if I can be the shining light for my family to help us out, I will. You know what I'm saying? Cause let's be real, ain't nobody perfect on this earth. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you gotta change your characteristics. You wanna get better. You feel? And I don't know what was going on, but there was a lot of issues. And then he had claimed that, of course, him and Randy had beef. Of course, he claimed him and Randy had squashed the beef before he apologized. According to Warrior at that time, they didn't, but whatever. Then, of course, I gotta give him his credit. Now, did he do it out of love or out of respect? I don't know. But if y'all remember, at WrestleMania 30, he got over Warrior. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I just want to apologize for everything I did to you. It take a boss move to do that. You feel what I'm saying? So I just feel like sometimes life catch up with you. You feel me? And I know they said my boy had a bunch of health issues. I know the day before he died, y'all saw the infamous picture. Man, Hogan looked it out of, you know what I'm saying? Man, Hogan looked it out of that last picture, and then here you go. The man died. You feel me? The man died. surgery and all that, man. Sometimes I just feel like you got life stuff going on, then you doing all these things at your younger age to get in shape, man. Life catch up with you. Feel me? Now, I ain't condoning like what he did, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I don't wish nobody go to hell or nothing, you feel me? Sometimes you just gotta put life in perspective, man. Sometimes you just gotta settle down and chill and be like, let me get my life right, you know what I'm saying? But he lived a good 71 years old, you know what I'm saying? And, it was fucked up. Shit, nigga died. You know what I mean? He had a heart attack, you know, think about it. Who knows, man, cause the stuff you used to do back in the day, be the stuff that catch up with you now. You know, so I had your uncles that did drugs, you know what I'm saying? Crack, rock, smoking weed, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, sometimes it catch up with you, especially if you ain't taking care of yourself or you currently still doing it, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, just hey y'all, I had a good time recording this mini-series. I thought it would be long as hell, but it's really 2 parts, you know what I'm saying? But hey, I just want to say, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And hey man, just get right. You know what I'm saying? Get right. Love your family members. Love your friends. You know what I'm saying? Cause you never know when your last moment gonna be. You feel me? I ain't saying like gonna be perfect. It ain't gonna be sweet, but hey man, just live. Love is love, man. You know what I'm saying? We all got our battles, man. You feel me? I'm going through it now. On the lovely side and on the health side. But I can promise you this. These last 6-7 months made me appreciate life. It made me appreciate my content. It made me appreciate my family. You know, they drive me crazy sometimes, but that's family. And it made me appreciate myself. And the key word is I gotta appreciate myself and love myself and be a better version of myself. So, with that being said, I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And I'm out. Peace.
Nathan Beats.